Before execution, beautiful girl begged doctor to remove IUD from her genitals, the tragic tale of Taojing from China. In the heart of China lies a story of innocence lost and a descent into crime. Taojing is the most beautiful death row prisoner from China. In a heartbreaking twist of fate, Taojing's life took a tragic turn from innocence to desperation. China is a very large country, ranked third as the largest country in the world after Russia and Canada. Because the country's borders are so long, China is geographically bordered by 14 countries. In the south of China, there is Yunnan province, which borders Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar opposite Ruili City in Dahong district. Born in 1971 in a modest village near Ruili, Yunnan province, Taojing's childhood was marred by poverty and hardship. She and her older brother lived very simply with their parents. Her parents were laborers. One day when Taojing was still in elementary school, she accidentally injured her leg while playing. Therefore, her teacher allowed Taojing to go home early. Her world shattered when she witnessed a devastating betrayal within her own home. However, when she opened the door of the house, little Taojing witnessed an adult scene that her father was doing with a neighbor. Poor little Taojing screamed hysterically, crying while running out of the house. As a result, the story suddenly excited the neighbors, who began to gather at Taojing's house. The father's act of infidelity was then reconciled by the head of the neighborhood. But since then, Taojing's parents' household had not been harmonious anymore. Because of the father, even though he had been forgiven, still continued the affair. Until 2 years later, the parents decided to divorce. Taojing continued to live with her mother while his older brother moved with her father. Since the incident of his father's affair, which later became the subject of gossip, Taojing at school became the subject of ridicule by her friends, and also her widowed mother had an accident at work, which made her physical condition disturbed. The mother could still work, but not as strong as before, which made her unable to provide a decent life for Taojing. The pressure of life made this little girl's personality slowly change. There was no more cheerfulness on her face. Entering junior high school, Taojing got involved with a bad teenage gang who often skipped school, smoked, fought, and stole. Entering senior high school, Taojing transformed into a beautiful and still naughty teenage girl. She became the bone of contention of the male students in her school. But none of them attracted Taojing. Except one person, let's call him Jet Li, a handsome student from a wealthy family and a good student in the school. It can be said that dating Jet Li had a good influence on Taojing. The lover could pull her out of the company of naughty children. But both of them were equally obsessed with each other. Taojing and Jet Li were inseparable, often skipping school just to date. No doubt, this unhealthy dating style made their study results drop. Taojing's mother was called to school several times regarding Taojing's skipping and poor grades, but when her mother intervened in her relationship with Jet Li, Taojing was angry and increasingly rebellious. Long story short, Taojing and Jet Li graduated from high school in 1989. Jet Li managed to get into an ordinary university in Guangdong, which was not what he and his parents had hoped for. Taojing had no intention of going to university, not only because of her lack of interest and limited academic ability, but also because it required a lot of money, which her mother could not afford. Jet Li then moved to Guangdong while Taojing was still in Ruili. The distance of more than 2,000 kilometers stretched between them. It made Taojing lonely and lost her way. But even worse, a month later, Jet Li sent a breakup letter with the excuse that he wanted to focus on studying and implicitly blamed Taojing for his failure to get into a prestigious university. Taojing was devastated, unemployed, not working, not going to college, and being dumped by her boyfriend. Her mother advised Taojing to come work on the plantation to save up for next year's college entrance fee. But Taojing refused her mother's invitation. Taojing did not want her life to end up like her mother, working on the plantation until she was old and had nothing. She packed her belongings and desperately went to the city of Ruili. Without skills, without relationships and experience, there were not many job options that she could find. In addition, China at that time was facing a financial recession, too many unemployed, while employment was inadequate. When Taojing arrived in the city, many young people from Ruili migrated to other cities, but Taojing did not want to bet bigger on her life. Her expectations were also not grandiose work, anything, as long as it is enough to eat and pay for boarding. Even so, Taojing still failed to get accepted for work in offices or small businesses, until finally she was accepted to work as a shampoo girl in a salon specializing in male barbering. The unique thing is that even though the name of the salon in that place, there are no combs, scissors, or other barbering equipment, except equipment for washing hair or shampooing. In the 80s to early 2000s, salons like this were everywhere in China. Usually men will come to this salon when it gets dark to relax while getting a shampooing treatment coupled with a head massage to the neck and shoulders with a tariff of only $1. But this is a price in those days, so the nominal is quite expensive. The presence of Taojing in the salon is like a seller that brings more and more customers. They are even willing to queue because they specifically want to be shampooed by a beautiful Taojing. Taojing knew clearly what kind of place she was working in. Sometimes she was also jealous to see her coworkers could have a lot of money if they were invited to check out by customers. One date, they usually charge a fairly high rate when compared. Maybe in one night, the result is equal to Taojing's salary for 3 months. But Taojing was not interested. She focused on being a shampoo girl only. Taojing doesn't want to earn a lot of money from selling herself. While nagging the heads of her customers, it's not uncommon for Taojing to receive invitations to date. Some offer her a short date, some are serious about becoming her lover. But Taojing subtly rejects all the men. The men who come to salons like this are usually middle-aged married men with mediocre faces and wallets. Maybe that's why none of them can get Taojing's heart. But the story is different when one day a handsome young man entered the salon. Coincidentally, the Taojing who served him at that time. Let's say his name was Yangbo, a native of Myanmar who had a business in Ruili City. He was handsome, sympathetic, and quiet in contrast to most other Taojing's customers who were outgoing. Despite his serious appearance and not talking much, Yangbo was very appreciative and attentive to Taojing. During the shampooing, Yangbo never babbled or behaved disrespectfully. Even one day, Yangbo came to the salon when Taojing was shampooing the hair of a customer. While waiting in line, Yangbo noticed that the man was insolent to Taojing. Yangbo pulled the customer's shirt, dragging him and pushing him out of the salon. His gentlemanly attitude made Taojing's heart melt. She felt that Yangbo was a good man. Yangbo then regularly came to the salon to shampoo if he came in the morning. Yangbo brought food. The point is that Yangbo tried to conquer Taojing's heart with gifts and attention over time. The two became closer. Meeting after meeting at the salon shifted to dinner dates or cinema dates, until one day Yangbo asked Taojing to be his lover. Taojing happily accepted. A month after officially dating, the two lived together. Since living together, Yangbo has paid for all Taojing's living needs, given a lot of pocket money, and even sent monthly money to Taojing's mother in the village. To his girlfriend, Yangbo admitted that he used to be a soldier, but now he only does import and export business from Myanmar to China and vice versa. Taojing was happy with her life. That time she felt she was on the right track. She had a lover who loved her, provided enough money, and soon maybe Yangbo would marry her. But over time she felt many things were odd in her lover's behavior and business. Taojing never knew what Yangbo's business was, only that because of it they often had to move. In addition, Yangbo often left Taojing alone, or rather disappeared for a week, sometimes up to a month. When Yangbo left, Taojing could not contact her lover at all. Taojing, who was left alone, became confused where Yangbo went. Does Yangbo have another woman? Or worse, could it be that Yangbo already has a child and wife? Uncomfortable with all the question marks in her mind about Yangbo's frequent disappearances, Taojing accused her lover of betraying her. Yangbo was not cheating on his wife, but he was at a loss as to how to explain to Taojing. Finally, Yangbo honestly confessed all about himself and his business. Yangbo told her that he had been running a business of buying and selling drugs produced in Myanmar for sale in China. Yunnan province is often referred to as the Golden Triangle or Golden Crescent because of its location bordering 3 countries, namely Myanmar, Vietnam, and Laos. Ruili town, where Yanbo and Taojing lived, became the entrance for goods from Myanmar, both legal and illegal. Since the 18th century, drugs, which were once known as opium, have become a big problem for the government that is unforgiving until now for anyone caught doing drug trafficking or trafficking activities of at least 50 grams of drugs will be sentenced to death. Taojing is stunned that everything makes sense now. It's only appropriate that all this time he has been spoiling him with a lot of money because the drug business is so profitable. But Taojing also understands that the punishment for drug dealers is very heavy. Maybe later, she will also be dragged into the problems that Yangbo brought. Taojing could not accept the fact that his lover was a drug dealer. She also did not want to endanger her life. Finally, Taojing decided to separate from Yangbo. Taojing packed her things and left Yangbo and returned to the village. But once at her mother's house, Taojing found that she was already pregnant. With no income and almost no savings, Taojing felt she could not afford to give birth and raise a child by herself. So Taojing went to a nearby clinic and had her pregnancy terminated. Taojing could no longer support her mother, although Taojing really wanted to make her mother happy. A few days after returning from the clinic, Yangbo was standing at the door of his mother's house. Yangbo apologized and said that he could not live without Taojing. Yangbo asked for a little more time to raise money, after which he would leave the drug business forever. Taojing basically still loved Yangbo very much. She also believed that Yangbo meant what he said. They then said goodbye to Taojing's mother and left again for Ruili. Arriving in the city, Yangbo, who knew about Taojing's pregnancy beforehand, asked his girlfriend to install an intrauterine device. According to Yangbo at that time, they were not ready to have children. They went to the clinic to install the IUD. From the beginning, everything went smoothly as before, but after a few months, Taojing questioned Yangbo about the short amount of time he had requested. Yangbo replied that he needed 2 months to gather the money. Yangbo invited Taojing to work together to collect the money more quickly. Initially, Taojing refused, but later agreed to help Yangbo smuggle drugs across the border. Yangbo then showed Taojing a bank book containing around 2,000 yuan. Taojing became more certain about accepting the mission. A few days later, a woman came and handed a package of drugs to Yangbo. The package was discreetly packed so it could be slipped behind Taojing's underwear. Yangbo and Taojing then boarded a bus. Before reaching the border, Yangbo got off and handed a small bag to Taojing, instructing his girlfriend to act calmly and normally when passing through the border checkpoint. After successfully passing through without inspection, Taojing followed each instruction given by Yangbo. Eventually, she arrived in the provincial capital of Yunnan, and the next day, on October 8, 1991, she went to a small alley next to the children's hospital in Kunming. Taojing arrived early, wearing a beautiful dress, clutching a small bag containing the drugs. Nervously looking around, a tall, thin man wearing a white baseball cap and carrying a black bag approached her and asked, "Are you Taojing?" She nodded and he asked again, "Where's the package?" Taojing handed him the small bag. The man opened it, inspected, and even squeezed the package several times. Nervously, Taojing said, "Please don't open it here." In the next moment, he pulled out handcuffs and immediately arrested Taojing, dragging her into a car. Taojing trembled in fear as the car stopped at the Drug Enforcement Bureau. In the interrogation room, she revealed her identity and circumstances, but her fear and lack of information led to her being sent to prison. Days later, police learned from other detainees that Taojing was the girlfriend of the person who supplied the drugs from Myanmar. In her first trial, Taojing was sentenced to death. Despite hopes she would change her mind and cooperate, Taojing remained silent. A day before her execution, a policewoman visited Taojing's cell, urging her to reconsider for the sake of her aging mother, offering a lighter sentence in exchange for cooperation. Taojing remained silent. Finally, the policewoman asked for her last wish. Taojing requested the removal of her IUD and to meet her mother one last time. On the day of her execution, Taojing underwent the procedure and was given clothes, shoes, and a meal cooked by her mother. On October 28, 1991, Taojing, along with other death row inmates, was taken to the execution site. Before boarding the vehicle, she met her mother, father, and long unseen brother. Taojing said nothing to her father, but to her brother, she asked him to take care of their mother after she was gone. Taojing's young life ended there. Did she truly love Yangbo? Did she fear for her family's safety if she revealed Yangbo's identity? Did she hope Yangbo would support her mother after her death, even though her mother never received any financial help? Yangbo was never apprehended. Was his love for Taojing genuine, or was he targeting her from the start to be his courier? These questions remain unanswered, leaving Taojing's tragic story shrouded in complexity and sorrow.